Welcome to the GameChanger 00100 show. I am your host, GameChanger. All right, so I wanted to ignore it. I really did, but apparently that's what's on everybody's mind right now, and that is this 4B movement. It was something that was brought up maybe a year ago, maybe 6 months ago. It was something that was brought up in the recent past, and women were talking about doing it just because now they have a reason, and now it's like we're going to do it because we are upset that Trump was elected for the United States presidency. And though I haven't really watched many videos of the reaction from men to the 4B movement, the fact that they're reacting at all is concerning, because something like this, women like this, should be ignored. You know, we have to realize what the crux of what motivates women is. Basically, attention motivates women the same way SEXXX motivates men. We all know this. So if you've been watching my show for a while, you have come to this conclusion. And if you haven't, then go ahead and hit that like button. I greatly appreciate you. But yeah, it motivates men, it motivates women like that motivates men. Meaning that by responding to this foolishness, you're giving free attention, but I'm doing it for the sake of you all, so we can get this and nip this in the bud, because it's really a non-issue, this whole 4B movement, but it does have a somewhat an undertone that men need to look at the women who participate in it, not as a loss of a resource, so to speak, but an understanding of a mentality that fuels such behavior. So without further ado, I'm going to do the short of the day. Go ahead and hit that like button while I prepare to do so, and we'll get started. All right, so okay, the short of the day is featuring this woman. Now, I want to point out certain things about this woman. She has an extended forehead. This is the smooth version of a Klingon forehead. Now, this isn't something that happened in nature. She wasn't born with the genetic disposition to have such a hairline that's so far back. Over the years, pulling at a lace front has caused the hairline to go backer and backer and backer and backer. And two, you see here that it is that the hairline has receded past the frontal cortex, and it's somewhere in the region of the prefrontal cortex of the brain. Almost to the middle. And it's just going to keep going backer. Also, I want you to notice the septum ring combined with a standard hoop nose ring. Now, as I mentioned in the past, and for those of you new, once again, hit that subscribe button. Each and every single woman with a septum ring is a witch. Now, you don't have to have mystical powers to be a witch. It is a series of beliefs. But each of these women desire to be a witch, even though they are incapable of performing witchcraft. Just like you don't necessarily have to be able to fly to be a bird. There's chickens, turkeys, etc., etc., etc. But yes, she is a witch, and let's just hear some of her witchcraft. Fair use, people. Fair use.
We are not going 50-50 and build with any man, because the burden of being with a man, you only paying half the bills, is not worth it at all. Among other things, me, in my own words, I've always said that men are insufferable. I would never suffer another man. I paid my dues to society already. Don't come for me. So, women have totally left the playing field and said, play by yourself. Women are saying, we are not.
More fool you. More fool you. You're somebody that our would-be president is from. Women like this are extraordinarily foolish. Instead of her paying half of a bill, she's paying the entirety of it. And not because, she likes paying 100% of her bills. It's because she feels that she could leverage a better offer. So basically, she's waiting for somebody to pay 100% of her bills and fund her lifestyle fully. And while doing so, she is paying 100% of her own bills. Now, even if she was to do that, let's just say in the halfway point of life, of adult life, she was to find someone to do that, it still wouldn't matter because she already spent 100% half the time. And she's spending 0% the other half of the time. Very, very foolish endeavor. She don't really do math. She does witchcraft, and that's why she's stuck in this particular quagmire. And I get it. You have something between your legs that you see as a commodity. Hit the like button. And the last thing you want to do is surrender that commodity for something that you consider to be lesser value. So it's one of those situations where you would rather see it thrown away than sold at a price that you do not feel is fair. Good luck with that thinking. And notice that she said, what is the 4B movement about? And this is something that was going on for quite some time before this. All right, so I'm gonna stop this right here, and then I'm gonna just say what's up to some peoples. Say what's up to some peoples. I'm happy to see everybody here today. And salute to all the veterans. Salute to you. All right, Kevin Murray, salute to you. New Moon, appreciate you. Brown Hornet, peace, peace, brother. Let's see. Um, Somebody said I thought you meant 4B hair. Yeah, I noticed that that's like a classification of curl level. I think that the full-blooded Negro would have 4B hair. I think that that's how that's classified. Only women care about stuff like that, to actually classify and categorize hair coil level. I mean, there's no category for fat, but they have categories for different hair. Anthony Williams, appreciate you. Let's see. Kevin Murray, Mr. Snazzy, peace, peace. Lion 917, salute to you. Salute, salute. All right, let's see. Covered that. Amnesty Stone, I appreciate you. Wait, just for the record, I wear my hair natural. Yeah, I don't. This is not about 4B hair. Oh wait, are you referring to what I was saying about the one? Just for the record, I wear my hair natural and use biotin shampoo and biotin conditioner. Is this a commercial? What is this? On my wash hair day, I use organic, non-GMO, underfilled coconut oil to moisturize. Why are you saying this? Why are you saying this? I think it's rude to make fun of Black lady's hair. I'm not. I'm making fun of a wig that she's wearing or a lace front wig that she's wearing. Also, I'm making fun of her forehead. You're racist and hate Black women. Black women are not a race. You do realize that. It's an ethnogender classification, but it's not a race. Um, yes. Now, Black people, descendants of Africa, whatever you want to call them, is a race, one that I share with a woman on the screen largely. So it's not racist to make fun of her, it's just funny. Kind of like if a small head person was to make fun of another small head person, that's funny. We are in the same classification. I can make fun without being called an ist. You ever notice how a woman here can speak about, let's just say, ending the race? They are ending the race. Things like 4B are just, neglect, refusing to participate in the family producing process will lead to the inevitable end of the race. But that's not racist. But my comments about her five head is racist. Find this very interesting. Let's see. Maybe this black lady has the C word, the big C, and is wearing a big C wig to save her dignity. You mean black men are so colorist and gender racist, and you get off on humiliating poor black women? Okay, see, here's the thing. This shaming tactic on something that either doesn't exist because you're creating a straw scenario is not going to work. It's not going to work. When do sympathy ever work on you? Can a man go to a woman and say, I'm suffering from dry penis syndrome and I need you to lubricate it? No. Miss me with this. GameChanger, you are not a gentleman. Okay. No. No, I am not a 15th century French nobility. Thank you for pointing out that. Thank you for pointing that out to me. Unfortunately for myself, I am not like Alexander Dumas, born of Haitian nobility and raised to the ranks of general in the pre-Napoleonic French army, whose son wrote the book The Three Musketeers and Count of Monte Cristo. So yeah, unfortunately, I'm not him. I don't walk around smacking people with white gloves that offend me. I'm sorry if I misled you into thinking that I was my mistake. An 18th French aristocrat, 18th century French aristocrat. My apologies. I'm going to be watching you very closely. That's good. Make sure you hit the like button while you're here. You're under my radar. Okay. Thanks. And I will report you if you continue to be racist and colorist against black ladies. I don't have words to respond to that. If I was a 18th century French nobleman, I would challenge you for such buffoonery. All right, moving on. Thang Yang. Cool in the gang. Okay, it says, yeah, just leaving like a lurking while at work. Okay, so you working on Veterans Day. Well, yeah, enjoy, man. I hope this makes your day go by faster. I think I already said Anthony Williams, so salute to you. Here we go. A super chat. Here we go. Okay. This is for how smoothly you fire off those hit the hit the button, hit the like button. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Been ninja watching for years, but the last month or so you have been on fire. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Yeah, I've been stepping it up lately. I've been stepping it up lately. Normally, I just would do it like once every week or 2 weeks or so. And I said, you know something, I'm really going to kick in because I'm done this year as far as like trips internationally, domestically. I've been away from home for 4 months out of this year. I've been other places, so it's not like it's no place like home, but so I'm not gonna go as far as say that I do enjoy my time away, but I'm not able to be as consistent. Like I don't bring my mic. I bring my laptop. I don't bring my mic and everything when I go abroad. I only have the one screen, so I'm not able to do the effect that you see in the background. So it's stuff like that. Um, but yeah, you expect some consistency from me for a while, and I appreciate you. And continue to hit the like button on that fire content. Okay, so Jason Wolf, it says black women want to be considered a separate demographic from black men. Yeah, they have for quite some time. Doesn't mean that they're a separate race, and any insult from them from the same race is not racist. But yeah, they do consider themselves to be a different demographic. Agree. GC has been on a I got a kid coming work ethic lately. Oh, so you saying that you saying that I'm on that I got to get that money. Got to get that money. I actually wish that I wasn't salaried. I do appreciate the blue collar brothers who like today they're getting like double money, and so shout out to the blue collar brothers out there, because hey, like stuff don't stop stuffing just because it's Veterans Day, and people still need you to do things, and you're out doing it, getting that double overtime today. So I mean, that's good on you. That's good on you. I mean, I do get envious of that. If I work extra hours, I get nothing but the satisfaction of knowing I completed my task on time, which is nothing. So yeah, I appreciate. I envy brothers in that particular situation. Okay, it says needs a job and a life. Oh, she don't have a job. Okay. New Moon, appreciate you. Black Ken, appreciate you. Appreciate you. Okay. So what if GC is racist and colorist against a group of women? See, and that's the thing. Okay, let me just bring up the term colorist and why I made the light skinned song. Because in addition to okay, if you were to listen to someone like Emerson Stone, and you were to live in fear of being considered a racist, then your mating options would be limited. Now think about what that means, because I have to say, and this is somebody who was an adult in the '90s, that who became an adult in the '90s, that the marketplace, the mating marketplace, let's call it that, is not as favorable to men as today as it was in the past. It's simply not by a long shot. There's no graphs that would quantify such things, but anecdotally speaking, I think that that's something that we can all agree on. That being the case, men are not in a position to reduce their mating options because we have far fewer than we did in the past. Now, what you would do, and what she would have you do, is reduce your mating options to only 13% of what it was, meaning that if there were 100 women, say at a nightclub or a speed dating event, you would only be able to consider 13 of those women if you were to listen to her and you were to fear being labeled as a racist. And then furthermore, you would be reducing your mating pool to whatever percent of those women are dark skinned if you were a colorist. So let's just, if you feared the term or feared the label of colorist. So let's just say, that's half of that. So out of 100 women, you would only be eligible for, let's just say, 6. And of course, in modern markets, those 6 are likely to say no, ghost you, not return phone calls, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, this woman would have you in a very, very, very uncomfortable situation just to appease her ego temporarily. Not a good person, yet she wants good things from you. All right. Osama Abdul, long time no see. It says, GC, American women are by far away the most spoiled women on the planet. Well, they're the most spoiled women that has ever existed in the history of having a vagina. Let's be clear, these women are literally more spoiled than Eve, more spoiled than Helen of Troy, who did not have an air conditioning unit. These are the most spoiled women by far that has ever existed in the history of having a vagina. Yes. All right. The irrational attitude is going to cause more men to opt out of dating, cause the passport bar movement to keep growing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Absolutely. Absolutely. You're going to find an alternative. That's just the way it is. All right. Oh, okay. We have somebody. Rise Raider. Salute to the Raider Nation. All right. It says you'll find a lot of these same problems in Nigeria and South Africa. I had that feeling. I had that feeling that it's really a matter of financial wealth, which is increasing in those African nations, and the mentality will grow as their GDP grows. So, yeah, I don't doubt that at all. Okay, it says go where there's less feminism, Sierra Leone, Ethiopia. Well, once again, there is a correlation between GDP and feminists. It basically it takes money to turn a woman into a feminist. To be perfectly blunt, and Nigeria and South Africa, retrospectively, has the highest GDP in sub-Saharan Africa, in fact, Africa in general. So both of whom are BRICS nations. I think Nigeria just recently became one. So yeah, thank you for pointing that out. Greatly appreciate it. All right. So and salute to J-Lock. J-Lock. Yeah. Salute to Josh. All right. So we're going to get started in exploring this foolishness that is called the 4B movement. But before that, I want to talk about what treason is. Treason, and I'm not talking about treason against the Black community because, we're well beyond that. And quite frankly, the community doesn't really have any methods of enforcing or imposing punishment on someone who is considered treasonous. So, that's a non-starter. It's not even, a matter of being treasonous to the Black community. It's really more of you're working directly against the interests of your own nation and doing something like the 4B movement, or directly trying to thwart the fertility rate of a country. Actions like this could be considered treasonous and perhaps should be considered treasonous. To incite such things is definitely damaging to the overall health and prosperity of a nation. To do so deliberately, in my opinion, borders treason. I'm thinking about that scene from Star Wars Revenge of the Sith, where Palpatine was like, it's treason. So that's why I labeled it that. And for those of you who don't know, that is a scene from the movie Chi-Raq, where, and they're trying to make it seem like Korean women invented this thing. They haven't. The concept of having a sexual embargo has been done. The concept has been around forever, but it never pans through. And it's always just a bunch of women who are on that ish before. They wasn't really putting out like that before. So you're not losing anything. And that's what it comes down to. Now, where was I? Oh, okay. Actually, I'm not going to do that. I'm just do the show. All right. So let me put the super chat into the matrix. All right. Give me a second, y'all. By the way it works is you send a cash app or super chat, you go into the matrix box, like here, like Black Ken here. Oh, that's Q, who is now in there. All right, so you go in the green. If you drop that green on me, I greatly appreciate it. And and the red is for the people who are members. Greatly appreciate those people as well. Okay, hold on. Accidentally hit that button. Okay. All right. And there we go. Put that there.
say these girls would have probably been in their early 20s, but what really struck Sydney, heading into the city from a concert, and I was surrounded by a young female friendship group of about 6 or 7. And I started listening into their conversation when one shouted, "How could this tangerine tyrant get back in?" Now, obviously, it didn't take a lot to know who they were referring to and what they were talking about. It was only hours after Donald Trump claimed victory in the US election. Now, I would say these girls would have probably been in their early 20s, but what really struck me was how upset and angry these young Australian women were. And I'm talking visibly, passionately angry by the results. One went on to say how dumb the US is, that this is terrible for women, that women have no voice in the world, and how, quote, Marmala, as in Kamala Harris, would have been the best thing for the world. Now, I certainly don't expect that everyone is going to take a keen interest in US politics here at home and do some serious research about what's actually going on in America.
Okay, just so y'all know, I haven't seen this. I haven't seen this yet, so I first of all, I didn't notice she was Australian, but I like that more somehow. And yeah, I want to see where this is going now. So here, somebody said the audio is bad, so I'm gonna take down the matrix and then I'll put it back up. So helps with the latency. There we go. I'll put it back up on an as needed basis. All right, bad echo. Let me put my headset on.
But for me, listening to how upset these young females were, I realised it represents a bigger problem, because this next generation don't seem to ask questions about the narrative they're being fed by the left. In this case, the fake misogyny narrative and the scare campaigns run by progressives on social media. And to ask not how Donald Trump got back in, but why Donald Trump got back in. You don't have to like the man, that's fine. But to say that this is terrible for...
Those two things are almost mutually inclusive. The how and the why in this particular situation, especially when it involves an election, is almost mutually inclusive.
Women, and women have no voice in the world. What a load of rubbish. That is a line straight out of the progressive left playbook, a line that we've heard over and over throughout this election campaign.
Ah, dang, it's buffering. All right, give it a second. It's probably a commercial. Actually, it is. That's why I got that thing there. Okay.
A world where we have the freedom to control our bodies and the freedom of women to choose what we...
Beyonce, if you did not have control over your body, everybody in the world would know it, because they all would be waiting for their turn. That is ridiculous. Who does control your body, Beyonce? If you don't. You say your husband, Jay-Z, but that's a husband that you chose. This fake victim stuff is really just annoying. And then this chick. Oh, gosh. Okay.
We do with our bodies.
The freedom of every woman to make decisions about her own body and her reproductive freedom.
Look at how old this woman is. Look at how old this woman is. Look at her. Why do you care? She looked like a massage therapist with no customers. What are you talking about? What dog do you have in this particular fight?
And the nonsense has just brainwashed young women around the world and right here at home to think that A, their rights are at risk, and B, that men hate women. Have a listen to this nonsense by so-called Australian influencer Abby Chatfield.
If you're a woman in Australia and you think the US election doesn't affect us, just know they now have permission to be outwardly sexist and support a rapist. Just know that. In your heart, know.
She's an awful human being. I hate it. I hate people that clap syllables. Adults should not be doing that. Adults should not be clapping syllables. That's something that children do to count how many syllables a word has when they're in the second grade and they're trying to figure out such things. Or when they're in a sing-along with the group. B-I-N-G-O, 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 and bingo. That's you. That's you, but the adult version.
But they now have permission. They now think they are the majority, and they're so
We do have the
uneducated. They
majority.
think that because they're the majority, they are right.
That's what popular vote means.
They now have permission to be racist, transphobic.
Holy
they have permission
crap.
to laugh about our reproductive health and our reproductive freedoms. Australia follows suit when it comes to America.
The hysteria and misinformation is frightening. Trump's victory has
You know what it's really all about with bras like this? They're afraid that we're going to steal their kangaroos and didgeridoos. They think that we're going to conquer the continent, the island continent, and force them to work in boomerang factories. They're crazy for thinking stuff like that. You have to have a sick and twisted imagination to think that, to actually put that in your brain.
nothing to do with hating women. In fact, female turnout was a significant part of Kamala Harris's election loss. Exit polls conducted by CNN showed that the Democratic vice president had an 8-point advantage among women voters, but that was nearly half of what Joe Biden had mustered 4 years ago. According to the Washington Post, the gender gap was 11 points, significant, but mostly in line with previous elections, suggesting this wasn't largely about men being unwilling to vote for a woman. It's because men voted for their hip pocket. They want to work, get a job, help pay the bills. That is not misogynistic. It comes from desperation, a place caused by the left. You see, the Democrats expected women to vote for a candidate simply because of her sex, not for her principles, her beliefs, or what she stood for, but because she is a woman. And clearly voters saw through it. Donald Trump easily demolished Harris because he was the better candidate. And the left are
I don't think that they're going to. Okay, so I'm going to stop here.
In fact,
though this is interesting, and like I say, I haven't seen this yet. Though this is interesting, it's not really speaking to the 4B movement. So I'm gonna stop it here. I'm gonna give y'all a chance to hit that like button, and we'll get more into some clips from the actual 4B movement. And my apologies, fellas, but I am watching it with you. So I am watching it for the first time with you. In fact, I don't even know how I got into the list that I set up for this. Big oversight. Okay. Here's one. I haven't seen this yet also, but it has a picture of a chick shaving her head. So let's see what this is about. And I want y'all to hit that like button. Oh, why is it going to the... Oh, crap. This is weird. All right. Give me a second. Technical difficulties. Oh, I see what's going on here. Okay, I see what happened there. All right. All right. So y'all get ready and go ahead and hit that like button. Thanks again. Thanks once again to Black Ken. Appreciate you, brother.
That's causing
All right.
quite a stir
Know
across the
this,
pond
that
following Donald Trump's recent election victory. By now, you're
baby, and I don't want it to change.
I'm
okay. Right off the bat, I have to say that it does seem like female news reporters on the right are significantly more attractive than the ones on the left. You know, like why do they have like Oprah and people like that, and you know the left have just better. You know, they have like Gail Nelson, and I don't know. It's interesting. But take a look at this chick, right? Nice body for whatever reason she's wearing. I don't know. It looks like a scuba gear or something. But let's see what she. Ooh, dimples. Let's see what she has to say.
We're probably gonna stay dry. I'm dry as a desert, baby, and I don't want it to change.
I'm Emily Carver, and today we're
Okay. When she say we're probably gonna stay dry, I have to point out that you can only stay dry if you was dry in the first place. Fellas, you're not losing anything with these 4B broads. You're not. You're not losing anything. She was dry before, and she's just going to continue with her perpetual state of dryness. Where's the loss? It's kind of like if the homeless said, I'm going to go on strike. And people would just look at her like, or look at the homeless like, okay. She said, I'm dry now, which means that you haven't been active and you're going to stay dry. I mean, what does it mean? What does the 4B mean? It's like, okay, instead of for getting your itch scratched once every 6 months, you're going to get it scratched once every 9 months. Like, what does that mean? You're only, there is no loss here. There is no loss. They're just being, audible about the things that they were already doing.
diving into an utterly bizarre phenomenon that's causing quite a stir across the pond following Donald Trump's recent election victory. By now, you'll know that many liberals.
All right, British people need to stop using the word pond. It's a whole ocean. Across the pond, stop using the word pond. Stop using the word rubbish as it pertains to garbage. Stop using the word holiday as it pertains to vacation. What if you want to take a vacation on a holiday? Today is a holiday, but it's just not necessarily a vacation if you're not going on a vacation. Stop saying stuff. Stop saying irregular stuff and calling it English. It's an ocean.
Well, American women are absolutely devastated by Trump's presidential win, panicking over losing their rights. They are afraid and they blame Trump and the men who voted for him. So now they're taking their revenge. And it's a movement that's rapidly gaining traction. It goes by the intriguing name 4B. Now you might be wondering what on earth 4B stands for. Well, buckle up, because we're about to embark on a journey from South Korea to the United States, exploring a radical feminist movement that's found new life in the wake of Trump's return to the White House. The origins of 4B. While some of these women may see their trend as something new, the 4B movement isn't actually an American invention at all. It originated in South Korea about 6 years ago as a response.
Okay, the name 4B originated in Korea, about 6 years ago. However, the movie Chi-Raq, which, is satire, but it talks about this in depth, is actually going on 10 years old. It's 9 years old. And prior to that, there was which is based on, I believe, an something that was written by Ulysses or Odysseus, like a Greek story. I forget the name of it, but this is not a new concept. Let's not pretend like they just came up with this, like the Koreans came up with this foolishness.
To what many South Korean women perceived as a deeply entrenched patriarchal and misogynistic culture. Now, the 4B in the movement's name refers to 4 self-imposed restrictions, each beginning with the letter B in Korean. Number 1, no dating men. Number 2, no sexual relationships with men. 3, no marriage to men. 4, no childbirth. Now, these 4 Bs represent a radical rejection of all of the traditional societal expectations placed on women. In South Korea, the movement emerged as a response to a range of issues, including the gender pay gap, workplace discrimination, and a culture of objectification and unrealistic beauty standards for women. It's important to note, too, that the 4B movement in South Korea isn't just about personal choices. It's a form of political protest against a system that many women feel is fundamentally unfair. By rejecting traditional roles and expectations, women are trying to make a powerful statement about their place in society and also their right to self-determination. Trump's victory and the American...
Okay, that's well put. I do want to note that in Korea, it's not even a thing. Like it's just a bunch of people. It's just like a small group of girls that decide that this would be a good thing. Really, what it is they're hiding behind I'm doing this for political purposes. I'm doing this for ... Really, what they're doing is they're trying to starve out my penis. They're trying to get other women whose vaginas is worth a damn to starve out my penis, so I would be forced to deal with the women who invent stuff like 4B. You see, leverage don't really work when only one or a few people does it. They need everybody in on it.
4B resurgence. Right, it's time to shift our focus to how this movement has suddenly gained traction in the United States of America. Since that re-election of Donald Trump, some women, mostly online, are now threatening to punish men for voting for Trump. This despite 46% of women voting for Trump as well. They're taking inspiration from this Korean feminist movement and vowing to withhold sex from men in order to punish them. Now, we've got some TikTok clips that really capture the mood of this trend. Let's watch the first one.
All I have to say is good luck getting laid. Especially in Florida, because me and my girlies are participating in the 4B movement. That's my next plan. And I'm dead fucking serious.
Me and my...
How much were you fucking before that? Is the question.
Girlies are participating in the 4B movement. She always makes it sound fun, but actually they're just withholding sex from men, which presumably they might find enjoyable from time to time. Let's take a look at another clip.
I want the men in this country to know that half the female population, we're dry. We're probably going to stay dry. I'm dry as a desert, baby. And I don't want it to...
Oh, she said half the female population. I did not know it was bad out there. It was that bad out there. That is funny.
Change. Yeah, we're not going to like you anymore. You understand that? Like, it doesn't matter if you take away abortion. Like, we'll want to have your...
Well, okay. How much did you like us before if half of you were dry?
babies even less, right? Even if you take away contraception, like, women are really good at celibacy because you guys are actually a threat to us. So we have a lot less to gain from you. So yeah, 4B all the way.
Right. Okay. 4B all the way. Women are really good at celibacy. Okay. Right. Okay. Totally
well,
unnatural.
It's good that you're good at something.
One might say, but there you go. It's her prerogative. Now, this final clip addresses some of the criticisms of the 4B movement. The creator argues that it's not actually about hating men, it's about protesting the political system that they believe does not adequately protect their rights.
Sounds like an ugly chick.
I also have
See,
decided
I know it.
that for the next 4 years...
I know it. The previous two females were attractive. And they're influenced by this one, who is a witch. And she looked like she has COVID IV or HVID. She looks like she has the two viruses at the same time right now.
I am going to abstain from schmex with men. Yeah, as a woman, my bodily autonomy matters, and this is my way to exercise.
Your bodily autonomy. What is your autonomy? Look at your body. Like yes, you look like World War Z. You look like the walking deceased right now. You look like you're going to eat brains as opposed to give brains.
Sovereignty over that. So I highly encourage any other women that are single and care about progressing women's rights and still.
Somebody said, does she look like she's having much sex anyway? She looks like patient zero of something that's named after her. I kid you not. She looks like she has something named after her. And look at her house. It looks like a spectacularly new form of trailer. Yeah, somebody said it. Yeah, and living in a trailer. Yeah, it looks like, like, ooh, we invented ceiling fans for trailers. I don't know if trailers have ceiling fans. I have been in, of course, like one of those things that you put on the back of a truck, those little houses there that you put on the back of the truck. Which I guess is also called a trailer, but like the actual trailer. Oh no, I have. And you want to know what hit me? You want to know what hit me? It was a line in the middle of the whole house. It was like a crease in the middle of the house. I think they took two houses or they took two trailers and put them together. And you could see where they put them together. I remember that, but I don't know if they could put ceiling fans in them. If so, she got that expensive kind. The expensive kind. Wearing a Snuggie. Let's not forget that.
She's our bodily autonomy.
Wearing a Snuggie.
To do the same. Delete your dating apps. I think we can look to South Korea and the 4B movement as a point of inspiration.
She doesn't look too happy.
Delete your dating apps. That means nothing. That means absolutely nothing. First of all, I don't online date, nor do I recommend, because you have people like that. Listen, ladies, if you've been on dating apps this long with no results, you're not hitched up, it means that A, you're a terrible human being and you wasn't putting out anyway, or B, you were you weren't taking it seriously, or you were on there looking for casual sex with the top 10% of men. So the other 90% won't care. And I think that the top 10 are good anyway. So it's not really a thing.
About it, does she though? She looks very distraught indeed. I mean, I do wonder whether she could just find a Democrat voting man, but perhaps that's impossible now because all men voted Trump except they didn't. The rationale behind the movement, clearly for many of these women, the 4B movement is centered around the right to an abortion and also concerns legitimate about reproductive rights. So to protest, they're using their bodies as a form of political statement. So they believe that by choosing to abstain from relationships with men altogether, they can fight back against Trump and his male supporters. But it's not just about reproductive rights. Many supporters of the 4B movement in America cite a range of issues. Similarly to South Korea, they include concerns about the gender pay gap, workplace discrimination, frustration with traditional gender roles and expectations, fears about the...
Listen, women like that who walk around thinking about the gender pay gap isn't really, they weren't putting out like that to begin with. They're a buzzkill and they are a penis shrinker. Somebody said GameChanger, you got to say it like short. Of course I do. I'm from Oakland. Of course I have to say it like that.
Erosion of LGBTQ plus rights and worries about what they perceive as misogynistic rhetoric in politics. Now, it is worth noting that while the 4B movement in South Korea was primarily focused on societal, cultural issues, its American incarnation seems to be more directly tied to political concerns, and those political concerns are Trump and the evil people, men who voted for him. Reactions and responses. Now, as you might expect, the movement has elicited quite a range of responses and reactions, as some have mocked what they're calling an ultra-feminist movement. They argue it's a complete overreaction to Trump's victory and that it won't have any real impact on policy or social change.
Yeah.
Others have pointed out what they see as some inconsistencies in the logic behind the movement. Critics argue that by refusing to engage with men entirely, these women are actually cutting themselves off from potential allies and limiting their ability to effect change anyway. Some point out that by using their bodies as a form of protest, they're actually playing into sexist tropes, that it's only men who enjoy sex and that women's only weapon is their sex.
I didn't notice that. That is true. And they're not playing into it. That is their only weapon. That is their only weapon. That is their only leverage, blah, 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 blah. I mean, of course, the ability to make a man feel sympathetic for her, let's just say that that's their greatest weapon, is to choose who to give pleasure to.
Also, presumably, they'll be missing out on what many find to be an enjoyable part of life. And as I said before, they don't seem all that happy about it. Supporters would argue that it's a powerful form of protest, though, that forces society to confront issues of gender inequality face on. They see it as a way of reclaiming autonomy over their bodies and lives in a political climate that they feel threatens their rights. What do you think? The broader implications. Right, let's take a step back and consider what all this means in a broader context. Now, the 4B movement, whether it's in its original South Korean form or this new American Trump incarnation, is fundamentally about power dynamics between men and women. In South Korea, it was a response to deeply ingrained cultural norms that many women felt were oppressive. In America, it's clearly being wielded or attempted to be wielded as some kind of political tool, a form of protest.
It is. It's being weaponized against men. And, you know, like I say, they're trying to create this sexual embargo, sexual strike, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Listen, what they're referring to, what they're trying to implement is a system of unionized mating. And how do unions end? What's the counter that corporations have to unionism? Foreign labor. They replace the labor of the people who union under the first world with people who will not unionize under the third world. That's why everything is made in elsewhere. You know, made in not America is what is the sticker that you see on everything. And that's for good reason. It's because well, I'm not going to say that because I respect American unions, but it's the inevitable results. So really, they're just going to, if something like this becomes a mass movement, which it won't, but if it were to, it would just fuel, brothers doing what they already been doing, passport movement, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Against an election result that these women simply find unacceptable. Again, even though many women voted for it. But is it effective as a tool? Will withholding intimacy and companionship actually change anyone's political views? Or is it more likely to further entrench the very divisions that these women are apparently protesting against? Or indeed, will it force the genders even further apart? Well, it's certainly succeeded in gaining these women attention. But are they only convincing their own echo chamber? Will Trump supporters suddenly reach out and say they regret their choice and that they'll always vote Democrat instead forevermore? Or is this all just really an exercise in trying to get as many clicks as possible on social media in our increasingly narcissistic online world?
All of the above.
You might wonder whether the whole thing will alienate more people than it brings on side. For one thing, it's given a lot of people a lot of laughs. It's also worth considering the potential long-term consequences of the 4B lifestyle, certainly a personal choice. But some experts have raised concerns about the potential psychological impacts of...
The more she talks, the more I want to smash a British chick. The more she talks, the more I want to smash a British chick. I should have did it when I had the opportunity. Recently, when I was in Colombia, there was some British female tourists there, older than I like, but now that I'm listening to the accent over a long period of time, yeah, I think I should have.
Completely cutting oneself off from romantic relationships and indeed the possibility of having children. Why would you harm yourself to punish someone else? Global perspectives. Now, the social media trend has been reported on around the world. Clips have been seen by millions of people around the world as well, and everyone's been giving their opinion on this one. It's also a story of how ideas can travel and evolve, in this case from South Korea to the United States. Of course, it's not the first time we've seen feminist movements cross borders, but the speed and scale of 4B's adoption in America...
They're just putting it on South Korea because perhaps they are people who are actually suffering under a patriarchy, which I doubt too. Listen, you know how you know when you are not in a patriarchy? When your birth rate is below, like, let's just say 2. When the woman's fertility rate is not 2 or more, then you most certainly, and because that would be the first thing that men do is assure that you make, if they had any control, that would be the first thing. That is always the first thing. You know, you ever hear about those plantations where the women have like 24 kids? That's the first thing. When men have complete and total control over a woman, the birth rate is skyrocketing. The birth rate just turns enormous. You know, like, isn't that why Genghis Khan had like a 1/6 of the world population as kids? Now, I know that there's archaeological evidence against that now, but, you know, I'm pretty sure that with all those wives, there was a lot of children. There was a lot of children. Yes, if you're I think the Korean fertility rate is like 1.34 or something like that. That is not oppressive. You are not oppressed. Look to your neighbors. Look to the people on the other part of the island if you want to look for that type of oppression.
Is particularly striking. Looking ahead. Right, well, I think it's clear this is an issue that defies easy...
Okay, I shouldn't say patriarchy. I should say an oppressive patriarchy. Because our country is a patriarchy as well, but it's not an oppressive one. It's not one that's oppressive towards women.
Categorization. It's a vivid illustration of how personal choices can become political statements, how global movements can be adapted and repurposed in new contexts, and it also shows just how hard hit some of these liberal women have been by this recent election result. Whether you see it as a principled stand or perhaps a misguided overreaction, there's no denying it sparked yet another conversation about gender, politics, personal autonomy, and it may well continue for some time. What a world we live in 2024. Now, as always, we at GB News will be keeping a close eye on how this story develops. Will the 4B movement gain more mainstream traction? Will Brits join in with the trend? Or will it remain a niche phenomenon for a few distraught young women? Only time will tell. But one thing's for certain, it's forcing us all to think deeply about the intersection of personal choices and political realities in our modern world. Is it forcing you to think about that?
Okay, all right. You know, I think I only like British accents for a little bit of time before it just starts being like blah, 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 blah. It sounds, yeah. All right, well, there we go. Let's look for some more. Okay, I had this whole playlist. Hold on. Hold on, give me a second. Hit that like button while I do that. Oh, Ike Ogiamian says, should Black Americans and diasporians invest in local businesses in Kenya or Africa? I am going to watch that because the short answer that I have is yes. To build a brick and mortar in places where brick and mortars don't exist, to me, is a wise idea, but his things is always a bit more nuanced than that. So I'm curious what he has to say. All right, is this it? Yeah, this is the one. And I knew it. I knew it was some African scam stuff. So be careful if you do, because they get you to come over there like, yes, you should invest in business or something like that, to build up their economy. And then and then all of a sudden, somebody comes into your store and says, I'm a princess and I need I'm a princess, but I need you to pay this legal fee so I can get my inheritance or something like that. Scammers. All right. But I will watch it. I will check it out.
Wake of Donald Trump's historic win, there's a new movement sweeping America. Disappointed women are actually swearing off men.
There's no way I am letting any man.
Shut up. Let the attractive women speak. Who is this woman? Listen, your vagina's got to be worth a damn. How dare you speak? How dare you speak on such a matter? Those are Christmas lights. So I was at the battery store. I was at Battery and Bulbs, buying a battery for my car alarm for the the fob thing, that the key fob car alarm, and I seen like a box of bedroom lights, and I was thinking about getting some, make it look fancy. Now, look at her. Those are Christmas lights. You cheap broad, you fat cheap broad, you nasty looking fat cheap broad, you sumo wrestling looking fat cheap broad, you Eskimo looking, you fat cheap nasty broad, you nasty bitch. It looks like you live in an igloo, you ugly nasty bitch, you fucking ice reservation looking bitch. How dare you speak? Let the attractive women talk. I can't believe it. Speaking as if your pussy is worth a damn. Like, ooh, we got a 4B. Nobody gives a shit. Look at you.
Near me for the next few years.
They're saying no to dating, no to marriage.
They didn't even show her face because they know it's something terrible underneath that pussy hat.
To dating, no to marriage, no to sex.
Celibacy, at least to me, isn't that hard.
And no to having children.
Like so many other women in America who have been considering trying to get pregnant, I will.
That's a woman? She looked like she was raised at a truck stop. She looked like she was raised at a Texas truck stop, and she eat Doritos for 2 out of the 3 meals a day. And look, she's married. So what, you just gonna stop doing your husband? Oh, you already did that. This is madness.
Woke up today and said, nope, not anymore.
This woman is actually shaving her head in protest. It's being called the 4B movement, and women are taking to social media declaring their allegiance.
The 4B movement was actually started by women in South Korea back in 2019 as part of their version of the Me Too movement. The number 4 refers to dating, marriage.
That's not the Me Too movement. The Me Too movement is just falsely accusing men of crap.
Sex and children.
This movement's way more important now than ever.
26-year-old Alexa Vargas joined the movement 2 years ago and expects a surge of interest.
And you see that? She joined the movement 2 years ago. So basically, you know, and trust me, she can get it. Unlike that first fat bitch, she can get it. But she joined the movement 2 years ago. Now, what does that mean? It means that she was already like this. It means that the Trump presidency, you know, is not affecting this. This isn't a surge. This is already abstained bitches. This is already empty pussy that's just staying empty. You're not losing anything, you know? And she probably wasn't fucking, you know, 2 years ago. She just put a name to her not fucking. Modern women are undermotivated to suck my dick. Is what it is. So, you know, you're not really losing. She already was gone.
In the wake of the Trump victory.
So you, in 2022, swore off dating forever.
Not forever. We're not going to settle for low value.
There is no we, bitch. Look at that sweater. Look at that sweater. It looks like it was knitted. It looks like it was knitted by an old white country grandma, like in front of a fireplace, and while she was waiting for the biscuits to be done. It looks like it was knitted by the woman on a country crock commercial. That is what you decided to wear today. You're not normal. There is no we. It's you.
You men that don't respect us anymore.
But lots of women are mocking the no marriage, no sex movement.
Wait, that woman was cutting her hair off? Oh,
Holy
bold.
crap.
Wild. The fact that these crazy.
What is that? All right. Hold on. I want to go back to the chick that was cutting her head off.
Us anymore.
But lots of women are mocking the no marriage, no sex movement.
Wait, that
Look at her face. This is the face of the end result of Shao Kahn. This is the face of the end result of Shao Kahn. If you play Mortal Kombat and then, you know, Shao Kahn will finish you and he takes the soul away, this is what's left over. Like, why do they look like that? Why do these feminist type chicks look like that? That they don't have intact souls?
That woman was cutting her hair off? Oh, bold.
Wild. The fact that these crazos are out here, they're like, we're not touching men. I hope that means more for me.
And you see that? You see that? That's what it's all about. It's women. You see that? She said, I knew it. I knew it. She know that the marketplace, that the mating marketplace is difficult as long as more attractive women like her is in it. So she's like, I want you to do the 4B movement because that's the only way that I have a reasonable chance at GameChanger's penis. That is what it's really all about. It's about lesser women convincing greater women to remove themselves as competition on the marketplace for my penis. That is what it's all about. Fellas, hit the like button. That's what this is all about. It's trickery, it's bitchery, and it's witchcraft. I'm telling you. Women like this have been after my penis for quite some time, and it's I'm telling you, it's trickery, it's trickery, it's bitchcraft. All right, let me go to the next one. Hit the like button, people. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. I got some fire content.
Movement. Many women across the country are turning to after Donald Trump's victory in the 2024 presidential election last week. The South Korean feminist movement 4B holds this name because B is a shorthand word for no in Korean. It grew to prominence in South Korea in the late 2010s. This is now a handful of no-nos for many in the United States. In the hours after Trump's win, Google searches related to 4B rose in the United States as women on the internet are expressing their interest in swearing off men. Women on TikTok and Instagram are the driving forces behind.
Don't care. Don't care. You will not dictate what my dick takes.
The recent swell of support for this magical, beautiful movement that I am now joining.
Well, the movement also received a... Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize. Sorry, I missed that.
Wait, doing my part as an American woman by breaking up with my Republican boyfriend last night. More fool you. He's going to make money, especially if he's white. And officially joining the 4B movement this morning. Holy crap. I think he dodged a bullet. I think he dodged a serious bullet, which is you. Why do these chicks always have something knitted somewhere on their in their life? Is that where they put their spells? Like, why do they have knittings in all these strange? Oh, you know what it is? Feminists have a bunch of extra time. Feminists have a bunch of extra time on their hand because they're not sucking my penis. So they are knitting crap. That's what they do with their empty lives. They fill it with knitting. And what is it? Crochet? They fill it with stuff like that and cats because that is their life. You are like 20 something and you're living like you're 90. That is, you were born in the 90s, but you're living like you're in your 90s. That is a damn shame. Yeah, knittings and cats. Like, isn't that that's like a stereotypical old grandma. And that's how these women are behaving. They have become grandmas like at a very young age without having any kids. They have adopted the grandma mentality. I bet you if you go over their house, they are watching Wheel of Fortune right now. They are watching not Jeopardy, The Price is Right. That's what they do. You got 20-something-year-old women who are watching Golden Girls and watching The Price is Right in syndication for the rest of their life. That's what they're going to be doing and putting puzzles together and knitting. That is what they are going to be doing for the next 60 years. This is a damn shame. This is a damn shame. They had taken the life out of their vagina. Oh, crap. Oh, my gosh, she's fat. All right, let me see if the music stopped.
Don't worry, girl. I got your back. From right here.
Don't know what that means. Okay. Can we all collectively agree to join the 4B move? Because I truly don't feel safe around men anymore. Okay. It's an odd thing to say. You're going to feel safer with stuff like that? Dang. Okay. They just play copyrighted music, so I can't really play that like that. So.
Also received some negative reactions online. One TikTok user said, as a mother who proudly voted for Trump, I can say the 4B movement is a tantrum thrown by grown adult women who didn't get their way. Another wrote, the only women partaking in the 4B movement are liberals. Conservative women will procreate. This means we will see a huge influx of conservatives being born.
Good point.
I support your movement. I predict this is not actually going to be a thing. I am very skeptical that political frustration, temporary political frustration, will supersede the innate desire to be happy and satisfied.
Well, it's definitely not working because I'm pretty sure Donald Trump's wife's not.
What?
I'm pretty sure she's part of 4B.
Don't say anything nasty about Melania Trump here. I won't.
It's actually
She's
complimentary to her.
Beautiful woman.
She is.
Has a terrific sense of style, and I
she is
can't
above
wait
him.
for those Tim Burton-esque Halloween Christmas decorations to be back. I loved it. It was great.
I kind of loved it too.
I loved her like austere style. It's great.
She's cold and yeah.
Beautiful.
So this is based on the famous Lysistrata play. It was an ancient Greek comedy. It's the second time I've mentioned Greek comedies on the show.
Yeah. So I told you it wasn't invented by the Koreans, who also didn't take it seriously.
Tonight. What time is it?
It's 11:30 in the morning.
So it was about
That's not
women
funny.
who were withholding sex from their partners because they wanted peace during the Peloponnesian War.
Right.
And then it's been reinterpreted a million times.
Then Zeus.
Wait, I thought it was the Greek Trojan War.
Turns them into a lamb or something, and they have sex as animals, and then that's how we have like the river, right? That's how every Greek story goes.
A Greek
That's how
lamb
every
sex
Greek
joke?
story goes.
Every Greek joke is about a lamb and having sex.
Zeus is always turning ladies into animals, and then so that Hera doesn't find out. Then she finds out anyway, and then
because women
it sucks
always
to
know.
be that, yeah.
I'm looking at a woman right above you in the background here. I
What are you
don't think we
looking
can tell. We can show it, but the woman holding the arms, the justice.
Oh, it was the.
I thought that the boom mic operator was a woman. That's man's work.
Justice is blind lady.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Justice is blind. Like, I think it's making a point. I would love to see, I need to dig in a little bit more to know if it's having an impact on the politics of South Korea, but there is an emerging, incredibly powerful feminist movement in South Korea, which is fascinating, right? And the UK also has an organized feminist movement, very, very active and radical. Our country is getting there, and I think just as young men are having their moment because of their little echo chambers they're in. And let's be real, Gen Z is already not having sex. So much of Gen Z has been like sitting in front of their phones, not knowing how to communicate with people, can't get off their apps and go into meet people.
She has a point. When it comes to what I noticed when it comes to sex in Gen Z is that they're the haves and the have-nots. But definitely the casual sex thing has died, and the haves, as far as sex goes, tend to be with people who are in long-term relationships in that generation. So I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but the have-nots are probably guys who are soon to be in long-term relationships, or it's just going to perpetually struggle in finding them. But I have noticed that with that generation.
People in real life.
It's because video games and pornography have become too good. That's honestly
No, that's true. I mean, and there's a blow-up doll, like a rise in buying sex dolls, also from Korea.
I mean, they're just better. They're just so people used to have a lot of sex because there wasn't a lot else to do during your day.
Did you just say the blow-up dolls are just better?
Well, there are more ways, not just on.
Never had sex with a blow-up doll. I never did. I can understand why guys do it, but it's never really been my thing.
Sex, but there's just more ways for people to spend their time now.
Yeah.
This is true for media stuff too. Like the newspaper used to be really boring because, well, what else are you going to read? There's nothing else. You would pick it up because how else do you spend your time? Now, this device, your phone, knows exactly what you want to see and read and watch at all times, and is very algorithmically, technologically well tailored to delivering you content that you like more. So there's,
what he's saying is true. What he's saying, porn has been my thing, but what he's saying is true, and that is people are getting their dopamine hits from other places, and it's not that a young man prefers directly sex, or I don't know, a telephone video game or something like that, or video games in general. It's not that he enjoys video games more than sex. However, he does enjoy the convenience of video games more than he does the inconvenience of gathering sex, of going through the process of gathering sex. So there you have that.
The day is still only 24 hours long. There's still only so much time to engage with content we like. So the content has to be really a lot better. And so that's true for pornography. It's a thing people on the right talk about pornography as a negative influence. And I certainly think, I've heard from parents dealing with young men, who have warped ideas about what sex is like. And I think it can exert, I'm not for banning it or anything of that nature, but I think it can have anything done in excess or that has too much of your attention can be unhealthy for you.
True.
No, absolutely. And there were recent laws about pornography in certain states. You have to prove your identity. You have to be
I don't really like that, because then we're all going to have some kind of, if young people have to present, everybody has to present ID. And I don't like the idea of the internet becoming a space you need like a license to be active on. I think it's bad for privacy. I just don't.
I find it fascinating. I'm not saying that conservatives that are for this are also for IDs at polls, which is interesting. So
I'm not for, I'm for ID. Well, I think I'm fine with IDs at polls. I don't think I'm fine for IDs for websites, but
going online and it's more interesting to know who's voting and potentially. Anyways,
we just want to make sure citizens are voting. But
bottom line is, it's not just a women's movement. It's in response to.
But do you know women who are actually? Let me ask you. Do you know women who are actually going to do this?
In real life, do. I mean, they're all in marriages, so I think it's a little bit more complicated.
Are they holding out on their husbands because their husbands were not insufficiently supportive of Kamala Harris? You know people like this?
I don't know if they're insufficient of Kamala Harris. I think this has been going on a little bit before that, in that maybe.
So basically what she's saying is she know women who are not fucking their husbands. Fellas, I said it before, and I said it and before the Kamala Harris thing. She know women her age that look like her that just are simply not fucking their husbands because, global warming. You're not losing anything. These bitches were always like this. It's just making bitches bitchier and cunts cuntier. Like, it's not making it, you're not losing anything. Like I say, it's like if the homeless were to go on strike.
Women are frustrated with having a job and then also having to go home and like do all the work and,
Oh my gosh, they're frustrated with the things that they fought for. They're frustrated. So while the young women are, looking to be liberated, because they're doing the 4B for equal pay in Korea, according to them. We're doing it for equal pay. Now that I'm doing equal pay, I'm going to implement the 4B procedure because I'm tired of working. It was a lose-lose endeavor. It's better to not negotiate with these type of people.
Some men feeling frozen and going and playing video games. Honestly, like 3 people I know who are in that. Actually, one is getting a divorce because of it, because thankfully women can have credit cards and divorce and bank accounts nowadays, but may not be able to.
Wait, what? She said, thankfully, let's point that out. Women can have credit cards and bank accounts in divorce. What does that mean? They could have credit cards and bank account before and after marriage. What is? Feminists are worse people. You know something? I think if ever society realized that feminists are worse than the Nazis, then they wouldn't care if an actual mustache guy was to run. He would still win over a feminist. Both of them ends in genocide. It's just that with the feminists, it ends in genocide for all. I mean, no babies is genocide. That's the point blank period. No babies is genocide. And I'm not sure who's in the lead. Like, is it Planned Parenthood or is it the gas chamber people that actually leads in, fatality.
After January.
No, it'll all be fine. It'll be fine.
Melania, we're counting on you. Hold out. 4B, Melania. 4B.
It is interesting that it seems harder for Republicans and Democrats, or people who disagree politically, to date, to have.
Technically, it's not genocide. Can you explain to me how ending a geno is not genocide? I'm very curious to hear the answer to that.
Have romantic relationships. I think that's gotten a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, politics is personal. I mean, I do think that there's fewer bipartisan relationships. Not everybody can be Madeline and Carville. And that works in a different way too, because if it were Madeline that was a Democrat and Carville the Republican, who knows what would be happening in that relationship right now. They are a little bit more culturally conservative. I believe she's very Catholic. I don't know about him in particular, but
well, yeah, I mean, they do show that relationships tend to, if they're successful, I think the two people's viewpoints often converge over time, right? He's an extremely moderate Democrat. She was a Republican before Trump and has left the Republican Party and is like a libertarian leaning Republican. So their differences aren't even actually that stark. They kind of converge over time.
I have a friend. She's a very progressive reporter, and she is married to a libertarian, like a kind of well-known libertarian guy. And they seem to get along. And we got to dinner, and sometimes I'm like, why are you even a libertarian? I ask you that sometimes, but
because I love freedom.
Freedom. That's
glorious
freedom. Then why didn't you vote for Kamala Harris?
Because I didn't want to be locked down in some mask jabbed with 1 million forcible vaccines. If there's another pandemic, that's why. Well, never believe.
These two are weird.
Never believe those Democrats on the freedom front because of COVID.
And she's fatter than this position would suggest.
I still think that Donald Trump, if there were another pandemic, let's pray not, I still think that he would be pushing the vaccines no matter what.
Well, again, making them available to people, I'm all for. I'm not against the vaccines at all, but I think it should be people's choices. I think the decision by Biden to require millions of workers to get them was a huge mistake in the Supreme Court, which will now be under Republican control.
Okay. Yeah, listen. I tuned out of these two, and I was looking at my TV screen, and when you pause Netflix, it starts, showing and highlighting the stuff that is up and coming. And I think it was like Lincoln Lawyer or something that Zoe Zeldani is in on Netflix. And she's not a hot woman. The sexiest I've seen Zoe Zeldani was in Avatar, and she wasn't even fucking her human self. I don't think I ever been attracted to her. But she presents as an attractive woman.
Forever agreed with me. So
Forever.
Forever.
Don't worry, you'll just privatize the government, so there won't be mandates about anything anymore.
Privatize it all. That's going to put me in the mood. All right, that does it for us today on Rising. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. I'm sorry, that was an
Okay, let's stop doing that. Okay. So they're replacing weirder people? I rarely watch mainstream media news. I don't. Okay, let me find some more on this right quick before we close down at the 2-hour mark. All right. Hit the like button for me. Greatly appreciate you.
victory already setting off a viral.
Oh my God, they're showing the same bitches. Like, didn't we already see this one and this one? I think that she's an actual Korean. And I don't think we've seen this one yet. But they're showing off that's how small the movement is. They're just, all these news programs is recycling the same bitches.
Storm on social media.
Start by taking back your power. It's time for action.
Some concerned women now taking radical steps. You may have seen it. Talk of the 4B movement gaining steam.
4B movement.
The 4B movement.
The 4B movement.
So what is it? Actually, a fringe feminist campaign from South Korea. The 4Bs, Korean for 4 no's, no marrying men, no giving birth, no...
That's for 4 bitches. Bitch!
dating men, and no sex with men.
There's so much pressure in South Korea for women to have kids, and women felt extremely undervalued. So they have sort of...
Wait a minute.
Sex with men.
There's so much pressure in South Korea for women to have kids, and
okay, he's with a half black Korean woman. This man is full Negro. Why their eyes closed? They are in prayer. Huh, this is interesting. I would think that he was a passport bro, but he probably somebody that brought his wife from whatever country he came from.
Women felt extremely undervalued, so they have sort of banded together to not kind of give into these societal pressures.
South Korea has the world.
Why is marriage so terrible to these bitches? Because they're stupid. And their accent is trash.
World's lowest fertility rate. Now, Google searches for 4B surging to record levels in the U.S. as one of its top trending searches in the last 48 hours.
I've been waiting.
Okay. Could somebody look up what the current most common searched is? You know, because stuff like that just goes away, and they're still showing the same bitches.
For everybody else to catch up to speed for a while.
Alexa Vargas says she stopped dating men 2 years ago.
They like to keep us around for sexual pleasure, and they like to get married and have kids to have this family man sort of.
Yes, we do. You're saying that you don't like sex and kids? You see, it's supposed to be a mutually beneficial thing. But they feel that men benefit from it a little bit more, so they're going to try to leverage it. That mentality has always existed. It's stupid, and it just denies her rights to happiness that's given to a person who has youth and beauty. More fool her.
Image, but really a lot of men don't value us.
Her TikTok post this week about 4B reaching more than 100,000 views.
That's not enough. There's a pair of perky titties that got more views than that. It really is.
I got hundreds and hundreds of comments on my TikTok talking about how women are wanting to participate in this movement now because of the results of this election, because women don't feel safe in this country.
My life. What do you feel in danger of? Lions and tigers and bears. Oh my, what? We don't feel safe in this country. Why? Why don't you feel safe in the country with the largest military/police force that the world has ever seen? Why? What threat in this country do you feel is? You see, they act like we are going to do something. Like the only threat is men, and we have made it blatantly clear that we are not going to do anything. If we have the military might to Handmaid's Tale, yo ass. But we haven't, because we're decent human beings.
Adding fuel to the fire, posts from Trump-supporting provocateurs with large male audiences, like white nationalist Nick Fuentes saying, "Your body, my choice."
Okay, let me see, because now they're just trying to provoke stuff. I don't know. I mean, Nick can vote for whoever he likes, for whomever he likes, but that doesn't mean that Trump condones his views. But let's continue.
How women are wanting to participate in this movement now because of the results of this election, because women don't feel safe in this country.
My life! Adding fuel to the fire, posts from Trump-supporting provocateurs with large
anybody can support Trump.
Male audiences, like white nationalist Nick Fuentes saying, "Your body, my choice, forever." And self-described misogynist influencer Andrew Tate facing rape and sex trafficking charges in Romania, which he
Oh, crap.
denies, responding to the 4B movement saying, "Now you don't even need abortions." Trump's Supreme Court picks helped
Good point. Good point.
overturn Roe v. Wade, unleashing a wave of protests nationwide. His position on abortion access has varied, but during the final stages of his campaign, saying
it hasn't varied. He's almost completely indifferent, but he did say that he believes in a woman's right to choose. See, it's really not about that. It's about a woman's right to do whatever the fuck she wants, not a right to choose.
States should decide
whether the women like it or not. I'm going to protect them.
The Trump campaign did not respond to a request for comment on the 4B movement as tensions build.
And you guys think it's just internet trolls? This is a problem.
A battle bursting onto our feeds and into America's culture wars.
Emily is joining us now. And Emily, this movement obviously was already out there. You talked about its origins in South Korea here, but talk about the sort of next piece of it, where it might go in the U.S.
Yeah, Hallie, you bring up a good point. There isn't anything new about swearing off men to make some kind of statement. And in fact, you can even look back to ancient Greek plays like Lysistrata, where women swore off sex to make a statement to protest war. And there's more recent examples as well. There's the trend of going boy sober and more people turning away from dating apps. Look, experts say, do they think that we're suddenly going to see women in droves swearing off, writing off men? No, but what we are seeing is these movements, they are finding these large communities online, and they're raising questions and concerns about reproductive freedom. They're putting that at the top of mind, gender equality, and in many ways, Hallie, that is the goal for a lot of these women. By the way, you can find a deeper dive into this on our website, NBCnews.com, our digital team working on that.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news.
Okay, so here's what gets me. I remember seeing this movie, I think it's called Hamburger Hill, where you had this guy, and it was about the Vietnam War. You had this white dude in the Vietnam War, and he did a couple of tours. Apparently, you sign up for like a year or two, and you fight in the war, and you have the option to leave, and he came back. He left, went back to the States, and came back. And he was talking about the hippie girls. And one of the guys there said, I'm looking forward to some of that free love. And he was explaining to him what happened when he went back. And he said, he was talking about the white girls. He was like, yeah, they had perfect bodies, pretty faces, and hair down to their ass. Said in a paper bag full of dog shit. Now, of course, he meant by that they threw it on them because there was a lot of tension and there was a lot of protests from the hippie community against the Vietnam War. And politics aside, they should not be doing that to American soldiers who are obeying orders. No matter what, these are the people that protect you. You should have more respect, but bitches. Anyway, so he was talking about that to the soldiers, and it's like, listen, the free love is not for you. It's not for you. It's for everybody but you, including the Viet Cong. It's not for white men who are participating in the Vietnam War. And I don't know if that extends to black men too. But at the time, maybe it did, maybe it didn't. Black men who participated in the Vietnam War, I don't really know. But he was making that point. Now, here's why that actually holds a significance of weight. Because feminists are not necessarily hippies like that. See, you have to actually have a culture of free love. Read free sex. Then the men have something to lose. Like, oh crap, I'm missing out on the free love culture. I'm missing out on this hippie lifestyle. I'm missing out on, I don't know what hippies did, living in the woods, smoking weed and going to Woodstock. I'm missing out on all that. These bitches don't have shit. They didn't have shit for us before. Like before they had the free love, the hippies, the flower child, the tie-dye. They actually had a culture that was welcoming and pleasing to men. They had that to take away. Even if they were feminists, they did have that to take away. Now, they don't have shit to take away. Like they've always been like this. They've just become more vocal and radicalized on what they already were like. Just a bunch of bitches that created misery and perpetuate misery. They weren't doing shit before. Now, let's just say they were on some hippie shit, right? And the only people that they were fucking were other hippie niggas, right? Then guess what? If you weren't a hippie nigga, you're still not missing out. And the only thing they are doing and can do is to not fuck their already hippie guys. They're just going to not fuck their already liberal guys that they were fucking before. And they smell funny. Hippie women, feminists. They smell like they've been, like bathing in recycled soap. Like, it's nasty. All right, let's read some comments. Think about how much these 403s want to date, then they want to be taken care of in marriage and not working. Yeah, but they, they're looking to put you in a sexless marriage. Then they want to divorce and get half in alimony, and then they want child support. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Oh no, 4B is coming. Yep. Women just aren't worth it. You gotta tell me what it is in this context. Oh, pussy. Pussy is not worth it. And I think that you're referring to when I was talking about the guys who are just playing video games and stuff like that. Yeah. There is a considerable amount of effort to seduce, and more for some men than others. And the effort probably for many, particularly young men, the reward does not reflect the effort. Probably stopped boning their husbands a long time ago. Well, yeah, that is exactly what happened. And by the way, if you find yourself in a position in a marriage with a woman who can and is willing to create a sexual embargo within the relationship, like I said on the last stream, it's not cheating if your wife's not fucking you. And the fact that she's willing to do that makes her unmarriage worthy, and you probably should reconsider the relationship if you can get out of it in a financially safe way. There are more women than men. Okay, let's not do that. So we have much more to choose from. Don't despair, just wait. Listen, it doesn't work that way. I mean, does it seem like it's more women than men? That's just something that they tell you to manipulate you. The truth of the matter is, though that statement is true, the difference is seen in the age difference of death, the mortality rate. So if women live to 84 and men live to 80, then the million more women are probably between the ages of 80 and 84. So sorry to break that to you. All right, what a combo. technically, okay, we talked about that. Maybe you have a response. All right. It says there will be no lack of children, conservatives having children. Yeah. Yeah, but it does cause problem, limited, a smaller population, but is what it is. Thanos was short-sighted with his idea of just getting rid of half the people. But yeah, the next generation, the preceding generation from, stuff like that is destined to be different. Let's just say that. Strong families will still procreate. They already have kids and work in good lives. These 4B women are just dooming themselves. Yep. Think she wants to fuck him? Maybe. Okay, I already read that. JB Design, salute to you, brother. Yeah, they're helping the Passport Bros, but it's just a few. It seems like it's just a few, a handful of vocal chicks that only get like 177,000 views. Like, even if 100% of those views were 4B women, that's a very small percentage of the overall female population. And it's not. Trust me, it's not. All right, let's see. I'm just waiting for the actual separation to occur when women, I think you mean live in a society that has no men in it. Yeah, I'd like to see that society. Oh, hold on. Actually, yeah. Let's talk about that. Okay. Hold on. Let's talk about. I'm glad you brought that up. Let's bring up these no men allowed societies. These women only societies. Let's bring that up.
The foothills of Mount Kenya, women have been living under a harsh patriarchal system for as long as they can remember. Female genital mutilation,
like a property, and in there's some
cup of tea at my house. That's it. So far, it's got super nice. Everything seems really idyllic. Did you see the welcome though? Oh my gosh! Every single one can sing as well. Every single one of them ladies can sing. So we're about to have a sit-down chat with Rebecca, and hopefully she's gonna explain to me how Emoja came to be, the pros and cons of living in an all-female society, and
Okay, so here we have. I want to point out something. We have this chick who is first world born, probably British, and she's going inside what she calls a women-only village. Now, I want to say this: for the right price, for the low price of like seeds and water, you can get these African villagers to do just about anything, and even fabricate that this is a woman's only village, meaning that if she wants to create an image of a women's only village as a good thing, then she could just pay like $100 and the men will go away and let them film whatever they want to film. So take what's about to be said and done with a grain of salt. Basically, they'll tell you what you want to hear in these places.
just shed some light what life is like here in Emoja Village. Hi, Rebecca.
That is a true shit village.
That's how the house look like.
Ah, nice.
This is now the big bedroom. That's the small bedroom. It's the kitchen. And this is our sitting room.
Amazing. It smells so good. And to the women.
It does not smell good. Does it look like it smell good?
Into all the renovations and build all the houses.
Build all the houses.
And they didn't build that shit house.
Let me just tell you how we started. As a Samburu woman, you have no right. If the husband wants to kill you, he have a right to kill you anytime because you are like a property.
Mhm.
And in the Samburu culture, have you ever heard of a woman village? So they say we have to destroy this village. We say we are not going to move. Let them kill us and make history of killing all of the women in this village. We
This is not making sense.
decided to do small
Somebody said the village is real, established back in the day. By whom?
business, selling our jewelry on the road. When tourists are passing, we welcome them and they buy our things when we are here.
Okay, so fellas, if you find yourself in Kenya and you see a bunch of bitches that look like this selling jewelry, don't condone this foolishness.
When we started selling, we found the men beat the women and they take away the money.
Do you think the men felt threatened by
they do.
women being able to make their own money?
They do.
With the ability to generate income, the women of Emoja have found independence.
So every morning we have to come and display our things. This is what we depend on. This is
That is pure shit.
our living.
Which one did you make? Really? It's nice.
It is not nice.
This is amazing. I read that you met Hillary Clinton.
Yes, I met her.
What was
She's
it
a
like?
good, she's a good friend of mine.
I wish.
Yeah.
So somebody said they're not making real money. Well, they're making like they're I'm telling you, they're making money that is relatively enough. But it goes to show that the moment they get like a little bit of trinket money, and that's all it takes for them to abandon their men.
Yeah,
There you go.
Yeah,
Let's
because Samburu women, we are following our footsteps to be more strong as women.
To be
We are
more
saying,
strong, more strong.
What can we do with this money? So we decided to start a school.
Oh, let's see the school.
I've never had such a spring in my step about going to school, Rebecca.
Let's
Sasa. Go to back out.
Hey.
Why is there boys at this school?
It's not only from Umoja, it's for all over, even from the villages, the men's villages.
Why are they trying to create an all-woman society but have neighboring men's villages? This is just weird.
We decided to build the school because we have seen education is very important.
Yeah.
And we don't want our children to be like us. We want them to have light in their life, to have good education, and to know what's going on in this world.
These are some dusty kids.
Women in Emoja are still having children, and sons are welcome as long as they.
Exactly. I blame the neighboring man villages because, you know, you're sending your kids to be educated by feminists because you're an idiot. But they also live in a society, apparently, where the women out earn the men, because it's all tourist based. So since men is more willing to buy junk from women than they are men, the women probably get more money and they use it to do shit like this.
They are willing to follow the village rules and do not try to dominate the women. Although no grown men are allowed to live in Emoja, the women are still open to relationships and often rendezvous with boyfriends.
So they still getting that dick.
Outside the village. You were saying in the beginning that you was having to deal with a lot of sort of problems from the men in the surrounding villages, just kind of being jealous little bitches, basically, about your sex.
Okay. I'm not going to sit here and listen to a gap-toothed bitch call men bitches. So I'm going to end it on that. So y'all see the sickness that the West is bringing to, you know, simple African villagers with no damn hair that's dusty as fuck. You see what they're doing? And this goes all the way up to Hillary Clinton. This is the world that these feminists are trying to create. They're trying to bring their bullshit to every village of the world and condone this foolishness, this separation. Why in any black community the fattest, ugliest bitch is always the leader? Fellas, listen to me and listen to me good. Boycott these bitches. These uncovered bitches. I'm gonna do a separate video on what it means to be uncovered. But basically, if a woman is not under a man's rulership, then she needs to be starved out. Because she's the most built like a man, bigger than the other broads. What is that? So what are they, like gorillas? Like, I mean, what does that have to do with anything? So do they fight for like alpha situation of the, I don't know. It's weird. Well, Hillary is not only married, she's married to a patriarchal man that gets blowjobs from secretaries. And she stood by her patriarchal man that gets blowjobs from secretaries. But they're more concerned with the image than the actuality. Boys learn to be simps, absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly what they teach them. I mean, well, it's the same thing that we were taught. Like, you know, if you grew up in the 80s like I did, the teachers were black women who were feminists, and they do put their bullshit off onto you. They have been doing this to us for quite some time. See, this is like welfare. And welfare has to be funded. It has to be funded by an external source. Unfortunately, these man-hating feminist messages, well, yeah, but it's always funded by men. It's always funded by men buying shit jewelry, or funded by men putting it to the welfare system, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's always funded by men. Feminists are born from situations where women get men from money without contributing to the family structure. Once those elements are in place, then feminism grows. Am I taking video suggestions? Yeah, send it to my email. Send it to my email. Always open to that. Yeah, so which means that they're savages because they're behaving like men. Where other societies, the pretty girl, she becomes the mean girl. She becomes the, you know, she's all that. She becomes the prom queen. But in our society, it's always the fattest, ugliest bitch. Feminism is creating lesbianism on TikTok. It seems like every woman, especially Gen Z, is no, it's the other way around. Lesbianism created feminism. Now, of course, it is to grow their numbers. I mean, you know, they want to assure that women hate men, and then they'll have no other choice but to switch over, because women actually work like that. They can't hate men so much that they would, convert, as we've seen on yesterday's episode. If you haven't seen it already, check it out. The woman was lesbian because she was mad at her baby daddy. Men do not operate like that. No matter how mad we get at our baby mama, we don't go and suck a dick. But yeah, it's a feminism that's creating lesbianisms. I bet you $100 that the light-skinned British chick would not want to trade places with any of those women in that village. No. Because she gets more free money from men than they do. Pretty don't mean shit when there's no man around a simp. Yeah, exactly. I mean, and that's why Trump was elected, because women need patriarchy in order to survive. The only reason why this village exists is because men are spending their money on bullshit. They have more men tourists in Kenya than they do women tourists, and yeah. So they're able to, not her. She's not out selling this crap jewelry, but no, she has the younger, hotter, sexier, childless girls to go out and sell this crap jewelry, and probably sell something else if it's worth a damn. And then bring the money back to build this shit civilization. I wouldn't be surprised if these quote unquote boyfriends that visit are visiting for that reason. Just saying. For a little pay for play. All right, so pass it to our Mark. All right, perfect. So I would like to give a special thanks to Black Ken. Greatly appreciate your contribution, brother. And let me do this. All right, quick. Let me just check. What is this? Okay. Anyway, let me just check my email right quick to see, because I don't want to miss anything. Okay. All right. So I would like to thank the Cash Apps. Greatly appreciate you. And Super Chats, managers and moderators, those who are listening silently, and those who participate in the chat. Make sure you hit that like button on your way out. And this is GameChanger 00100. Game over. Peace.